live. Welcome back with Natalie. And Natalie is here today as her role of founding a community founder. So she's going to tell us a little bit more about that. But she actually created a community called More Mom Movement. And I think it's very appropriate for where I am in my life and a lot of you viewing where you are in your life. So again, the summit is all about bringing in positive character into the home, into the classroom. But in order for us to do that, we have to be filled and we have to have that positivity and those character strengths in ourselves as well. And we've had a couple speakers here today talking about how important it is to fill our own cup and to, recognize that we need to be who we want to be before we model those things to our children. So welcome, Natalie.
Absolutely. Hello, Maria, and thank you so much for having me. And even more importantly, for just pulling such powerhouse speakers together. This is like perfect for my audience that I care about so deeply. So I love that it just meshed so perfectly and that you're taking the time and energy to put this together. So,
well, you're welcome. I want to make, at the end of the day, it's selfishly, I want to make the world a better place for my own children. Yes. But in order for me to do that, I also need their friends to have a better life and the community that I live in to be more positive place. And so I just start kind of reaching out further and further. So tell me about your community that you said it was very appropriate for. Tell me about the More Mom Movement.
Yes, I am sharing this into my Facebook page right now.
Okay.
Because I want as many people to hear this as possible, because this really is, this is a mission of mine. So we share that in common. And I worked in corporate America. I was your typical highly ambitious, highly driven child, kind of one of those kids that had my hands in everything in grade school and high school, knew I was innately motivated to go to college, to do all the things, to check all the boxes. And that's exactly what I did. I would have done anything to make sure that I crossed all of those T's and dotted all of those I's. And that's very characteristic of firstborn children, or what, I mean, I'm sure there are many more scientific things that come along with that. But so I did all of that. I went through, actually, I had several career changes, was very fortunate to be one of those just innately leaderly type people that was called to do greater and greater and play bigger roles in corporations. And so I would say I was never satiated with what I was doing. And, but at the same time, my innate abilities to lead people and to make sure that I am always like growing and building and leading is just really, really, God bless you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Go ahead, keep going.
It's just innately in me. It's what I want to do. It's who I am. So I spent 15 years in corporate America, a few years before that in academia and in healthcare. And so I have a diverse skill set and a variety of different professions behind me. But at the end of the day, they're all kind of supportive and caregiving, if you will. So I've done my 15 years in corporate. My children are getting older and older. And a little behind the scenes, I was raised by a single mother. And it was just one of those things that we always, she did everything she could to make sure that we had everything that we, accomplished everything that we wanted. And so as I was growing in my career, my responsibilities at home were growing in the exact same way. And I was just not satisfied. I was, if I was happy at home, I was frustrated at work and vice versa. And so I had this internal struggle of balance. That was the first time. And my kids were probably right before grade school. So I have at this present time, I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. And so he was probably like kinder first grade. And so I started to feel that, that need from an education perspective, and that like professional piece of me was wanting to give him all the structure and the beginning of all the opportunities. But until that point, I'm a big believer in the play model. Yeah. And so now that he was kind of getting in and desiring the structure that I am so accustomed to just by nature, I started to feel like I couldn't have that balance anymore. I was much easier on myself when my kids were children and babies. And as they were stepping more into that childhood and young adulthood, I started to feel like, man, I still have to give them everything. And now this is like the peak, or beginning to be the peak of my career. And so I was really pulled. I had a beautiful opportunity to exit a 15-year amazing career in corporate America and step away. And the very first thing I did was really turn inside and really look at what I could do using all my skills and talents and the things I've already mentioned, with just kind of the program structure, project management, leadership skills, and community building. I went through lots of coaching programs and therapy, you name it, to really kind of find what it was that was going to light me up. And the first thing that came to me, which felt super organic, was pulling together moms and supporting them so that they didn't feel the same way I was feeling.
Love that.
And naturally, we tend to surround ourselves with the people that are very similar to us. So the people that were in my immediate friend circle, the people that I gravitated to in the professional environment at my church or whatever it may be, were all highly ambitious, very driven, centered around family. You know, our values were so similar that it was easy to pull them together. So I left corporate America. My very first entrepreneurial journey was kind of building and creating this community of like-minded women who I say all the time, but typically moms are balancing about 8 different roles at a time. And so
wearing all the hats.
Yes. So sorry, just one second. So all, juggling all the balls, wearing all the hats, and playing all the roles. So that's the biggest thing